Now boarding episode 505 of the GoGCast. Cat turns into a full-on plane spotter thanks to SkyCards, a mobile game where you catch and collect airplanes. Would you like tea or coffee? Tea it is as we catch up on the drama surrounding Subnautica 2 and Disco Elysium 2. Please fasten your seatbelts and get ready for takeoff. Here we go.
Get ready for the Girls on Games podcast, your weekly dose of news, reviews, and everything video games. Always served with a good helping of hype and just a pinch of salt. And now, your host, Leah.
Welcome to another Girls on Games podcast. My name is Leah. I'm the host of this show. This is episode number 505, and today it's another Kat and Leah show. Hey, how you doing?
Good, yourself?
I'm excellent. Let's do a little bit of housekeeping before we get into the crew check-in. If you enjoy this show, I highly suggest you subscribe. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Podbean. If you'd like to get some GOG merch, you can do that by going to designbyhumans.com/shop/girlsongames. Or maybe you'd like to give us a tip, maybe buy us a coffee. You can do that by going to our Ko-fi. That's ko-fi.com/girlsongames. Kat, it's been a heck of a week for me. How was yours?
It's been pretty busy, actually. Pascal was away for the week. He went for 3 days, hang out with his parents, his sister, and then went to see his best friend, and they hopped on a car, and they had a TTRPG chalet getaway weekend that I opted out this time because I didn't have enough. I basically ran out of vacation days for the summer, and my boss was away that week, so we couldn't overlap. So I was like, it's fine, I'll go to the next one. And because of that, I was being alone. Is that when you realize that when you have a house and you're alone, it is way too much fucking work.
I thought you were going to go, I'm bored in the house and I'm in house bored.
No. Oh, yeah, I remember that. I haven't thought about that in years. No, it's just when you have to cook and do the dishes, fuck that noise.
Oh, yeah.
Miss me with that. So I ended up like Monday and Tuesday meal prepping, and then just like eating prepared food all week after that. And it was good because as of Wednesday night, every night I had something. So I was in and out. Like Wednesday I go to the gym. Thursday we had a special happy hour with work. Friday I went to hang out with my friend, and we got takeout and we ate in the park. It was great. And then Saturday we went out to see my mom. It was her birthday last week and I was sick, so I didn't go. And then yesterday, Pascal came home in the afternoon, and then I was shot. I was just like catching up on chores and whatnot. So yeah, it was like not an eventful week, but it was just, I wasn't home much. Every time I walked in the door, the cat yelled at me like, why am I spending so much time alone? Like usually you two are always home. You two are always home. And of course I had to give him his medication all by my lonesome, which is even harder.
Yeah.
Because usually Pascal holds him like a little football baby.
Yeah.
And then I just open his gullet and I drop the pills. When you have to do and the football hold and the pill drop, not so great. Not so great. We bribe him with treats and he's become more compliant. But if he can not take his pills, he will. He would rather that. So yeah, it's pretty much my week. It zoomed by. I was just like,
oh yeah, it flew. We are super busy at work right now too, and between festival season, so I've had teams out and about on Saturdays and Sundays, and then the rest of us and there's just a gazillion things going on at work. So yeah, it was a chaotic week. But I did run out yesterday. So for the first time ever, I've had a Philips Hue light die for the first time, and I've been using it for I could say I've been using Philips Hue for probably 12 years. It's the first time I had something die. It was the string lights behind the television.
Okay.
And yeah, when we were having all the internet problems at one point, like we couldn't turn off the lights. So Mike just went and unplugged it and we couldn't get it back to go back on after that. So I think they were well used. They're essentially used every day,
Mhm.
you know, for like, I probably had that one 6 years because we got it. We put a new light strip on because we needed a bigger one when we got that television when we moved here to Toronto. And we went up to Best Buy to buy some lights, and Mike's like, let's poke around. He's like, you said you needed a new pair of headphones. And I'm like, yeah, because the other ones died. Because I use everything until it literally falls apart. And the pair of headphones we're using, the ear cuff, like the glue separated and it fell right off. So I was like, yep, 'tis time. So I bought a pair of Audio Technica Anth M20 XBT. They are wireless headphones, yet they come with a wire and they are currently plugged in because I like hearing the microphone back. I like the monitors. So yeah, new headphones. Feels good. I find it hard to pick out a good pair of overhead headphones because more often than not, they are heavy and they squish my brain. And by the time I'm like after wearing them for an hour, it's like I have a headache.
Yeah,
so I'm very particular. I have to go try them on.
Or they're like, they either clamp too hard or they don't clamp enough because they're like, oh, you and your little small head. And then all the pressure goes on the apex of your head. And that one point just starts hurting after like 30 minutes.
Yeah. So I'm surprised of how light they are. And yeah, they don't seem to squish my brain. So hopefully these are now the podcast headphones because I've needed a pair of over ears. Because I like, with this new microphone setup, I like doing that. I can plug into it and hear myself back, which for some people trips them out. But for me, I actually really like it.
Yeah, because you're an actual radio person.
Yeah, I'm used to living that radio life. But if it's off by like a little bit, like when you hear yourself back and it's like a second or so off when you're like on a Zoom call or something, there is nothing more disorienting than hearing if it's not immediate.
Yeah, it has to be 1-to-1. Yeah. If not, me too, it trips me up.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. But yeah, it was just kind of a normal week, which is kind of nice. So yeah. All right, let's get through some Fantasy Critic in the podcast league. There were no games released on anybody's roster. Also, no bids and no drops. So the standings remain the same of Kat, Joelle, then me. In the Community Fantasy Critic, 2 games released. Madden NFL 26, which was on Kat's list, the Itty Bitty Kitty Games Publishing Committee. Critic of 81, points of 11.
I did not expect it to go above 80. I thought it was going to be a good, like, middle of the line, like a 75, 78, couple of points, guaranteed publish. Man, it reviewed well.
Yeah, it did. And then additionally, Mafia the Old Country came out. That was on NJK's list. Critic of 74, points of 4. There was a little bit of action in the bids. Unannounced mainline 3D Mario platformer was picked as a counter pick by Concrete Raven Studio, that's NJK, for a bid of $7. Football Manager 26 was won by NJK with a bid of $1, Bob.
Nice.
Double Dragon Revive was won by Phoenix with a bid of $2. He dropped Crimson Desert conditionally tied to that. And Mio Memories in Orbit was won by Margot with a bid of $5. There were no drops this week, and the current rankings are Pat, then Margot, Albang, Kat, Fred, Ross, Jessica, myself, Phoenix, Simon, NJK, Kyle, Stainsby Kingsby, and Joelle, still with no games released.
Love her to death, but that is one catastrophic performance.
Yep.
But yeah, I moved up a lot in the ranks.
Yeah, you did. I guess because it's so close, right? Because there's so many games, right? Oh. It's tight.
I think like Madden and Is This Seat Taken being like in the Metacritic of 80s just kind of like shot me up like
Yeah.
3 or 4 positions.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. All right. What games we playing? Kat, did you end up picking up something new after finishing Is the Seat Taken last week?
I have a new obsession.
Oh.
And this is because of, I will 100% admit it. It's because of TikTok.
Oh.
And half because of my colleague. It's a game called SkyCards. And it's Pokemon Go for airplanes.
SkyCards.
And I fucking love it. So my colleague, Dara, her boyfriend is studying to be a pilot, and she loves like airplanes.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if I mentioned it in a podcast episode, but I know I've talked about it. We had our work barbecue at Jari Park, which is where there's like the tennis stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And it's north of the island-ish. So the island of Montreal is like very oblong.
Mm-hmm.
And basically the airway to the air routes to leave and to land at the Montreal airport at Yule, they kind of follow the tip. And then they go to the airport. And like to be on the eastern side of the island, if you're like basically in the eastern northern quadrant, you will see airplanes. You will hear airplanes. I had to close my window because they're like all the night flights are landing at this time, and it can get loud. So it doesn't take much for you to be like in the route. But like if you're at Jari Park, like they're so low, like every plane you see that is either in landing or in takeoff still has its landing gear out.
Oh.
Because like you're, I don't know, like 50 kilometers away from the airport. You know, like if you follow the 40 and stuff, it's not that far. So it's a great spot for like plane spotting. And she was plane spotting the entire barbecue. I think because her boyfriend is a pilot, she has a paid app for like the flight tracking and the flight radar.
Oh.
Because there's like public information. A lot of these flight numbers are like, of course, public information, and you can go like on websites. This one is by one of these websites, this app. Let me check. It is by
Flight Radar 24.
Yeah. And essentially it uses real life flight data. You have a map with little airplanes.
Okay.
And then you can catch the airplanes like you would Pokemons.
So it uses the flight trajectory that's live, and then you click on them, and then that's how you catch them. Like, what's the catching mechanic?
It's taking a photo. And
a real life photo of the airplane?
No, it's a gaming way. So
okay.
you click catch, and then you have a mini game where it's like you have your camera. It looks like a phone camera with a shutter and a little square in the middle. And you just got to take your photo at the right time for it to have not too much cloud coverage and for the aircraft to be like well centered. And if you caught it. And essentially you can catch, once you catch an airplane for the first time, like a model, like, I don't know, like a Bombardier CRJ 900 regional jet that we have a lot around here because the Air Canada fleet uses it a lot, and WestJet and Porter. You catch it first. It makes a card. You carry a card of the airplane that has, like some data on it, like the first flight, the rarity level, the wingspan, the speed, the number of seats, and the weight.
Okay.
And then you can recatch the same plane, not like the same plane, but the same aircraft, but different flight numbers and different flight. And the more you catch an airplane, a model of airplane, then you can upgrade your cards. And they go from paper to silver to gold to like, and it's very, very light on the gameplay mechanics. It's mostly about just catching airplanes. Secondly, when you catch airplanes that are from different destinations, so if you have an airplane, like let's say coming in from St. John's, Newfoundland, and I catch it sitting here in Montreal, then I unlock the Newfoundland airport it came from.
Oh.
And you can virtually travel. So there's in-game currency coins. I can spend like, I don't know, 12 coins to be as if I was sitting in St. John's for 30 minutes. and catch the planes over there.
Wow.
And, so far, like every time you catch an airplane and you take you have 2 vectors of perfection, cloud coverage, so less clouds as possible, and being perfectly in frame, each can generate 1 coin.
Okay.
And then coins is basically your in-game currency to use whatever, to travel to another airport, to buy more photos, because you have 5 photos every 11 minutes. And then if you level up, let's say, because myself, I can level up. I've been playing for 3 days. I'm already level 15. When you level up, then they'll refill your photos automatically. You can pay also, it is for 5 photos is 10 coin, but if you want to have infinite photos for half an hour, it's 75 coins.
Okay.
And I'm level 15. I've been playing for 2 days and I'm sitting here with 300 coins. And they sell coin pads. The only microtransaction thing is basically buying some of the consumables and buying coins. There's no ads. You can watch ads to have more photos. If you're out of photos, you can watch an ad. They'll give you 2 photos. But I've had so many coins all this time that seriously I haven't used it. And then you're okay, so you catch planes and then you have all these cards. What do you do with this? You can build decks.
Yeah.
Literal deck building. And once you're level 8, you have a little battle thing. And there's a theme. Right now, the theme for this week is Uncommon Week. So it's all uncommon airplanes. The rarity level, right? You have common, uncommon, scarce, rare, ultra rare. And then you make a deck of 5 cards, and then you have to go battle other people. And then you'll have categories. And they'll say heaviest plane. So you put a plane in. If your plane is the heaviest of the 2, you win this round.
Okay.
And it's a best 3 out of 5. You can bet coins, or you can bet no coins and just do it for shits and giggles. I've barely battled. I've battled a bit to look at it, but I have just been, every time I hear an airplane out the window, I've been opening this to see what model is this, where it's from, where is it going. There's one that's going to fly in. It's a Dash 8-300 that's flying in from Wabush. Wabush is in, it looks like Labrador.
Yeah, it's in Labrador, Wabush.
Yeah, it's in Labrador.
Yeah.
It's flying in from Wabush. I caught a plane from Iqaluit.
Oh, neat.
Seriously, if you are a Canadian player, pro tip, unlock, if you can, the airports from out in the Arctic, because the Arctic is a route.
Right. There's going to be tons.
If you go up there, there's a bunch of airplanes coming from Asia, flying into the United States, and they go over the Arctic. So they fly over the northern peak of Quebec, between that and Baffin Island. So they fly over Quebec and Nunavut. And then they kind of turn around because of the curvature of the earth. And then they go towards San Francisco or Vancouver or West Coast or
New York.
New York. Yeah. New York, they're a bit lower though, but
it's beneficial to be kind of in a hub. I'm in an airline hub city, but then also it's beneficial in certain places just because I guess that's when you get the different airplanes.
Exactly. So for you, you're in Toronto. You can easily
SkyCards. I'm looking this up.
Yeah. You could easily be between Toronto and Kitchener. You could, because the circumference around them.
Yeah.
See, I just clicked on Billy Bishop.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get all the way down to Hamilton.
Yeah.
Because it's a wide berth. And the further away the airplane is, the more unstable the camera is, and it's harder to take a photo.
Oh, okay.
So if it's on the edge of that circle, you can also expand your circle. There's a second thing that you can expand for a couple of coins if you want. And you can also increase radar for 30 minutes for 10 coins. And for me, sitting in Montreal, I would grab all the way to Ottawa and down into Vermont.
Wow. Oh yeah, because I can see even on the website SkyCards.app, You can kind of see someone looks like they're placed in Stockholm, but you can see tons of other, like the circle, the radius kind of extends. I would imagine too, you could probably get bonuses to extend the radius even further.
Yeah, or there are like consumables.
Yeah.
So you have a camera stabilizer for when you have those airplanes that are far and they're hard to take a photo of. You have catch anywhere. So it's a one-time use. You're just looking at the map. There's an airplane bumfuck nowhere, like, I don't know, like flying above Africa.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want it. I could use that item and catch that one plane, even though I am sitting thousands of kilometers across the Atlantic Ocean in Canada.
How many plane cards are there?
As many as there are models of aircrafts that are in use right now.
Wow.
Because they're using the flight radar 24 database.
Right. What a cool way to learn about airplanes.
Yeah, and they use the database also from jet photos.
Yeah.
Where it's like users are taking photos of airplanes. So, you know, like I just caught that Dash 8 that is flying in from Webush. That's like literally above my head right now.
Yeah.
And there's a photo of it and it says copyright Antoine Lambert. And it's from that flight. Like the flight code is CFPAE.
Yeah.
And this is and then I have a photo of the aircraft, of that very aircraft with the livery of the
who's operating it.
Who's operating it?
Who's operating it? CF.
It's so small. PAL Airlines.
Ah, okay.
You probably know it.
It's definitely Canadian. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
and they usually do a lot of Labrador flights.
Yeah.
PAL.
Yeah. I caught like a few. There's I forget which one exactly, but there's a few Boeings 7727 that are very rare because they're old. And that's what Air Inuit is using.
Oh,
so
wow.
A lot of these flights coming in from like northern Quebec and like Baffin territories into Montreal are using these old ass airplanes.
Craziness.
Yeah.
So my brother-in-law, you know, Ian, I don't know if he's doing it right now. I think he might be more of an office job. For a while though, he was working at the Montreal airport and they would fuel the planes, fill them up. So he knew lots about the different aircrafts. And when the last time we went to Mexico, not this current time, the one before, we went on one of those Dreamliners and he was telling us all about it. Like I could see, especially too, if like you have kids, like I could see like some young kids being really into this because it is, you know, gamifying learning about aircrafts.
Exactly. It is. Yeah. And exactly. And like, the rarity of the airplane goes with how little of them there are in circulation.
Right.
And I find that like at these extremities, you either have very old aircrafts that are not produced anymore and that they're slowly getting out of commission, or extremely new aircrafts. But then the extremely new easily fall more like they'll fall into the common quicker.
Yes.
Because like they're being mass produced right now. And some of them, it's because it's hyper localized. Like my thing right now is to unlock as many small airports as I can. Like I learned there's an airport in Mont-Tremblant because of this.
Oh, I thought I always knew that there was one there. Definitely a helicopter, but it must be flight too. Because like all the fancy people would private flight into Mont-Tremblant.
Exactly. That's what they did. So it is like a very small airport. It's an old military base.
Yeah.
They made like a log cabin terminal to make it like very like, hey, welcome to Canada.
Very Mont-Tremblant.
Yeah, very, very much
ski like après ski, mais oui.
Yeah, very much old timey Quebec and Ontario, you know. Like,
so there used to be an airplane too. They recently closed it down here in Toronto, not too far from my place, called Downsview, and that's actually where they've installed the Rogers Stadium where I went and saw Blackpink, because it's just like this huge space. And for the longest time, now my next door neighbor who used to live next door, he was an air traffic controller, and he was saying how like the reason why there was so much waiting for construction and stuff is because the buildings couldn't be built up higher than a certain level because of the airport.
Yeah.
But now it's gone, and now they've got that big arena there,
Mhm.
and I think Chris Brown's playing there this week, and Oasis is the end of the week. So
Nice.
yeah, that's what they're using the space for right now. I don't know what, because the arena they got set up is, I think, somewhat temporary, but yeah, it's kind of interesting to see how they're using this space now. It's where they had like SARS Fest and all that kind of stuff back in the day.
I wonder, because my mom used to fly over the country because she worked for government.
Mm.
And this was like the 90s. So, to have like meetings, like they used to be phone meetings, and but like she had to fly out to meet like people.
Yeah.
Especially often like in Ontario, especially because at one point she was working for what used to be called HRDC. So essentially like labor divisions. And she worked a lot with unions. She worked a lot with the automotive industry. And because of that, they would ship her often like towards Hamilton and Toronto and all that. And she would tell me about all of these like crazy, like small airplanes that she would take from Ottawa to do like day trips, like little Dash 7s that are now out of commissions. And I wonder if she at one point landed in that airstrip.
Maybe. I could see that. Now we've got Billy Bishop. That's been there for a good few years now. That thing's great because it's right dead smack in the middle of the city, because it's like on the water. Speaking of on the water, then my question is, my dad went to Labrador the weekend to go fishing. I'm wondering if like, because I think they fly out of Grand Falls, which is a smaller airport. I wonder if you can see like one of those planes. Like, would you pick up like ones that are small, tiny little planes, like the ones that can land on water and things like that?
If it's a chartered plane?
Yeah. They must have a flight code.
Yes.
Because it's like it's air traffic. Yeah.
Exactly. If it's like somebody's personal airplane, because I know, and this might sound weird for a lot of people that are not like into like the boondocks of North America, but in Canada, because we have so many lakes and a lot of remote areas in the winter are not reachable by car, a lot of people have their own airplane, their own like seaplane that can land on a lake.
Yep. So
there's a lot of people that just travel by airplane. It's a very northern Canada and Alaska thing.
Yeah.
I don't think these are on the app, because I don't think there is like, I've noticed like private planes.
Yeah, but they're not, I don't know if they're considered commercial planes.
It's still considered a commercial flight.
Okay.
I think, in the sense that they fly in and out of airports.
Okay.
So if it's anything that's a charter, even if it's somebody that's ultra rich that has their own airplane, if they're flying out of places like Yule to go to YYZ and stuff like that, yes. The very, very small, like just some dude has a plane to go to his cabin, I don't think so.
Or like a crop duster.
Yeah. I haven't seen any of the planes that are the firefighting ones.
Oh yeah, the Blackhawks. They sent 2 Blackhawks to St. John's when they were trying to fight some of the fires.
Yeah, the CL-45s, I think they're called. I don't
know much about it.
Was from Canadair back in the day. Then then Bombardier bought the rights, and then they sell them. I was reading all about planes. I'm sorry, I am obsessed.
Kat went down a rabbit hole, and now she's what would you call that? What do you call somebody who's obsessed with air travel?
I'm sure there's a name for it.
Google, do you know? Actually, Chat GPT.
Chat GPT lies.
What? Okay, Chat GPT. We're gonna ask so. What? Oh, hold on. What do you call someone who is really obsessed with airplanes?
I have aerophile.
Avian enthusiast, an avgeek, a plane spotter, an aerophile, and an aviation buff or airplane buff.
Aerophile is the definition from Merriam-Webster.
Yeah, a more formal term meaning lover of flight/aircraft.
Yeah.
So you're an aerophile now.
Yes, and now I'm going to start plane spotting. like my colleague, but now I'm really like my plan for now is to try and get as many of like the very Canadian airplanes,
Yeah.
like all the Dash 8s, and try to get more destinations that are like remote in Canada, being like, I didn't know there was an airport here. But also like I've discovered that there's not just like, I thought there was like mostly Boeing and Airbus. And then, you know, like they pretty much undermined Bombardier, and Bombardier like had to sell them the C series. And Bombardier was basically only doing jets now because they sold. There's a Brazilian company called Embraer. And a lot of the new planes that we get for like shorter flights, like a lot of the Porter and WestJet and Air Canada fleet is more and more Embraer.
Oh,
and I was like, what's this? And that's all the new stuff. And I was like, oh, there's more like airplane companies. And then at one point I was just like bopping around the globe to see if I could see like other types of airplanes. And I spotted an aircraft that was Chinese, from a Chinese company that was about in the mid-size jet. And I was like, what the fuck? So I went down a rabbit hole about learning about aircraft carrier. My friend, like Guillaume, one of my besties, worked for years for Bombardier Aerospace. He worked on the Global, I think, private jet.
Ooh.
But yeah, so that's my current obsession. So now instead of like when I have like nothing to do and I just want to open my phone and scroll TikTok, now I open SkyCard. I catch planes. And I spend my 5 photos. And then I close it. And it's been kind of like I'm trying to do that to cure me of what do I do when I'm bored? Like I don't have a fidget spinner or whatever. And even if I had a fidget spinner, I would go to my phone. And I've been unhealthily scrolling TikTok for so long. Now I do SkyCards. And you can tell that like for them, this is something to gamify airplanes because they make their money off of their website, like Flight Radar 24, which is they have subscriptions for like all the information, all the extra info. And clearly like they're not expecting to make thousands on the app because it's barely monetized. And it's not, I'm saying it's not barely monetized. It's not predatorily monetized.
Yeah. It's like,
normal.
It's almost like they're doing it because they love it. And they're like, we could do something cool here. And maybe this money that people may spend on it could help keep it afloat. Right. Like,
yeah, they're basically making sure the app pays for itself or they make a bit of money.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they kind of like has a lot of innovation. Like you can make your own avatar and customize it. And to unlock more customization, you just need to level up. There's no customization tied behind like monetization. You can't use coin to unlock a better jacket. You can't use coins to.
Could I follow you and like see how you're doing and seeing which cards you have?
Yeah, I think there's a friend thing.
All right, I'll have to get going on that. I downloaded the app already, so I'll have to give that a go. I'm in a good flight path as well. Because of where I am, and I'm like 13 minutes drive away from Pearson, which is a big airport.
You have a lot of connections, but also like sometimes airplanes that are going somewhere else still fly above the airport here.
Yeah, totally.
Because I think it's just like a matter of safety. So if shit hits the fan, they can just like land in a closer. So I've seen a lot of like flights to Toronto, like from the Maritimes to Toronto that do fly like a line falling down the Saint Laurent. They're hitting basically all these small airports. So, you know, flying over Quebec City, flying over the small ones around like.
May have to do with the airflow too.
Maybe.
And keeping traffic, I guess, and they try and keep in certain lanes and stuff in order to know.
Actual engineers might know. I think.
Oh my God, do we know any? Guillaume, where are you?
He's now working for the STM.
Oh, what a change!
He went from airplanes for rich people to metro for normal people.
For everybody.
Yeah, he's working at the SDM, and the current big project right now for people working on the metro is the lengthening of the blue line. So, it stops at Saint Michel. It's going to go all the way out into the Eastern Island.
Oh, wow.
It's
Good.
been in the works, and then it's been stalled and restarted, like every fucking public project in Canada.
Oh, yeah. The LRT here is taking forever, or whatever it is that they're doing on Eglinton that's like killing all the businesses.
Yeah. You talk to like basically every level of government. And you're like, you agree public transport is important and should be affordable and should be available. And you agree. And everybody agrees. Now they're like, okay, Montreal needs like more metro and better metro station. And like, this is one of the 3 biggest cities in Canada. So if we improve transit in Montreal, it will ripple out throughout all of Eastern Canada, just helping with mobility and transit in general. Like, making sure local people are not on the roads means, the trucks moving merchandise out of the port into the country. It helps. Like, it helps everybody, right?
Yeah.
Everybody agrees. But then when the city of Montreal is like, cool, how much of these billions of dollars do you want to pay? Then everybody's like quiet.
No. Yeah.
It's the same. It's the same for Toronto. They always talk about like modernizing like the TTC and the streetcars and everything. I'm just like, just fucking fork the money over.
Yeah, they don't want to do that. It's funny that you started that app this weekend, considering Air Canada flight attendants went on strike.
Yes,
on Saturday morning.
This is how I learned, by the way, like bar none, I'm on their side. This is how I learned that flight attendants are only paid while the airplane is in the air.
It's in the air. Yeah.
They don't get paid for delays. They don't get paid for all the work they do on the ground, which is like the bulk of the work they do is just corralling people on the airplane and dealing with people that are stressed and traveling. And it's like, it's something between like, depending on the flight routes, it was like something between like 30 and 50 hours unpaid per month.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, anybody just go read up on what they're asking for, and it makes total sense why they're asking for it, because it's just ridiculous. I'm totally with the flight attendants. It sucks because we're in the middle of this not great time. It's the middle of summer. People are traveling and it's putting people out. But at the same time, it's like, what else do they have to fight with, right? So
it's like, everybody's always like, what are they? Are they really essential? Until they stop working.
Oh, yeah. We need to be able to get around. Yeah.
Yeah. And we have so little airplanes. But yeah, it is talk of the town right now. And the federal government's trying to make a law to force them to work. But I'm like, just pay people the hours that they work.
Yep.
And this is because historically, like, flight attendants has always been like a woman's, quote unquote, a woman's job. Like, it's mostly women that do this. So that's why the conditions are terrible and were never improved.
Yeah.
And that's it. But anyway, long story short, hopefully the Air Canada stuff gets resolved. And SkyCards is my new fidget spinner.
It's so funny because I was like really anticipating that you were like, okay, I played this nice, short and sweet. Is this seat taken last week? Now it's time to dive into a meaty PlayStation game. Have you finished Final Fantasy yet?
No, I didn't even have time to pick up the controller. I was so busy.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need that game that's easy. Like, you have 5-10 minutes. That's it.
And because I was so busy and I just had 30 minutes to sit on the couch or an hour, I was brain dead. I ended up taking all that time, not even opening YouTube, just scrolling on TikTok for a whole hour. And then I was like, my wrist hurts. I shouldn't, it's nice to have a few cat videos here and there, but it's like, this is unhealthy. I am clearly stuck here because I am too tired to engage in anything else. And I have very limited time before I go to bed. And this TikTok scrolling is not helping me fall asleep. So I just kind of started catching planes, and then I kind of stock on coins. And, if I have half an hour, I'm just like, fuck it. I'll get unlimited photos for half an hour, and I'll just look at airplanes and catch airplanes. And honestly, it's sometimes you have to replace an addiction with another that's slightly healthier. It's still screen time.
But you're learning, at least.
Yes, because after having lived for we moved here 2016, so 9 years.
Yeah.
Under like one of the routes
Mm-hmm.
for the airport, like depending on wind and stuff like that. They're not always here, but they're often like above my head because I'm like, like I said, like if you're north of like Sherbrooke Street in Montreal, you get a lot of airplanes no matter what.
Mm.
I'm just like, might as well, because we also have Mirabel. That's
True.
where my mom lives.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, I was sitting, on the couch at my mom's while the kids were running around, whatever, and I was catching UPS and FedEx planes.
Yo, why not?
That go to Mirabel, because now it's all essentially just a cargo airport.
But it's still different airplanes to add to your mix.
Oh,
right?
I was still like upgrading my cards for like some of the, because they're all Boeings.
Yeah.
But it's just the livery on these flights are like FedEx or UPS.
Yeah.
Or another company I forgot. But yeah.
DHL or Purolator.
Yes, those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's been very soothing. And then I've been reading up on Wikipedia about the like airlines, but also like the manufacturers and all the tea about like what happened with the C series, why did it become an Airbus and stuff like that. And my last little tidbit is, this is how I learned that Hydro-Quebec, which is the the provincial electricity company here, has 4 airplanes. Because I caught one of them.
Oh.
I caught an old ass Dash 8 from the 80s, and then I saw livery and I was like, Hydro-Quebec. And then I went on the website of like Flight Radar 24. They're listed as a carrier with their fleet of 4 Dash 8 planes that they use to probably go up north to where
Churchill Falls and stuff.
Yes, and also they have like they do a lot of work like north in some of the indigenous communities to make sure they have electricity, because they're part of the province and stuff like that. So there's like the actual like work on those big like hydro centers like Churchill Falls, but they also go up north.
Wow.
Like, yeah. So I was like, oh, and they have like these 4 Dash 8s from the 80s and 90s that are probably well loved, but I don't think they're used for like pleasure and comfort. I think they're used to haul people and material up where there are no roads.
Yeah. I'm curious to see, as you play this, what other weird and wonderful airplanes and airline carriers and stuff you discover as you go.
I've found out there's many, many, many small private airplane companies operating out of like northern Quebec, like around like Lac Saint Jean, where my dad is from. And they're like, they'll boast their fleet of like 8 airplanes, and they have 2 in Lac Saint Jean, 2 in Quebec City, 2 in Montreal. And they're like, book a flight with us. You can charter a party bus, you can charter a party plane. But yeah, and they have these airplanes that basically do these short hauls, so they can do pretty much from like any point in the province of Quebec. And this one company that was more like up north was touting that they had many planes that were made to like that could land on basically gravel, the ground, snow, packed snow or something, and they probably did like charter flights out like into like Nunavut and things like that. And I was just like, this is really interesting. And then they had like on their website like photos of the different configuration if you want people and cargo or just people and things like that, and their small ass airplane that could land in a snowfield. And I was like,
my gosh,
I'm learning so much about this, and I think it's a very Canadian problem in the sense that a lot of like these water planes and these water that can land on the water, the firefighting airplanes, and these planes that have short takeoff and landing capabilities are very much for like remote areas. And I think like between us and the Russians is basically, like, I don't know. I haven't looked in Russia to see if they have like their own set of small airplanes that can land in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, or if they're using the ones made from Canada, like the Dash 8s, or the smaller Cessnas, or the old school Canadairs.
Huh.
I don't know. I have to go look. Now I'm really curious. But apparently my colleague who's obsessed with this told me that a lot of like that innovation for remote access via air was done through Canada after the World War One and World War Two, like using these small planes to be like, hey, we could go up north. Yeah, apparently it was a very Canadian and American thing. So I was like, that's why we have like this long ass history of like airplanes, even if a lot of these companies disappeared with time, like Canadair and Learjet, and, you know. But yeah, I'm sorry. This was a long ass thing about airplanes.
But hey, still gaming related. I'm still playing Ritual of Raven. Remember last week how I said, like, I think I see stuff in the ground that I can mine? Yes, I can extract that. Very interesting mechanic, too. Because of how this is based on, just a reminder, this is a farming game / gathering crafting game, but you don't necessarily do it all yourself. You use these things called constructs that you program based on cards that you have. So you have a card, in the case of a farming scenario, you would set, hey, I want you to farm this plot. I want you to till the soil, plant a seed, water, add fertilizer, water every day at 8 a.m. And you can program the little dude to do that. So as I moved through, opening up different spots and lands and stuff, I opened up this area that was supposed to be like crystallized area. And in the ground, there are these plots that, are different multicolored, and you can go in and extract. They call it like liquid form of the gemstone or crystal or whatever it is that you're going to. So say at one point it was like an opal. So like you get liquid opal out of that, but then you get a card that you can fuse that once. And then that takes 3 liquid opal to fuse to get a shard. And then you can take 3 shards and turn it into like a solid crystal. So, liquid opal shard, then a full opal that you're able to get. And then on top of that, you can like charge it with like the moon properties and stuff like that. So like as I was going, I was getting deeper and deeper into this rabbit hole. And then it opened up an area that was kind of like a swamp. I'm trying to see now what that piece's mechanic is, because I haven't really gotten there yet. You have to work your way through by gathering, crafting, and whatever else, and then delivering certain object items, plants, flora, whatever, to different characters throughout the thing as you kind of push the system along. And then also too, that process opens up more cards for you to add, and there's definitely other things that you can get. I got one that makes a loop yesterday. So I can essentially say I want to craft those shards. I can set it, instead of doing one at a time and having to go in and restart the enchantment anytime, I can say loop this 10 times.
Oh.
And it'll do it.
So you're unlocking even more programming stuff.
Yes. There's also a mechanic, not just fuse crystals, but to fuse plants together too. So I had to make a hybrid plant by fusing 2 different plants together, which was kind of neat. Yeah, it's just really interesting. There's cards that I can go and buy. I have one that will check a spot. So in the spots with the crystals, and I get the little plot of the grid, it doesn't always have, say you have a 3x3 grid, it doesn't always have all 3 crystals in all spots in that 9 grid. So you can add into the program if statements. So every morning on this plot, if you can see a spot that's able to be mined, mine it. So it's such an interesting way to learn how to program, but yet it makes total freaking sense.
But
and then
that's what programming is literally logic.
Yeah, but just a different way to visualize it. Because I've done some C++, I've done some JavaScript programming, I've done a bunch of CSS, if statements, all that kind of stuff, right? So I found it pretty easy to wrap my head around, but I'm really curious to see if someone hasn't ever gone down that avenue before of needing to code like that, how they would approach it, and if they would think about it the same way I would.
It would be interesting to compare it, because there are games to teach kids how to code, right? You had that Nintendo that sold us cardboard. If I remember correctly, there's a free one on Ubisoft Connect with Rabbids.
Oh, really?
And I think it's the same way. You kind of like make these little contraptions, and then you have a node view to do like if this, then that, to learn about like true false statements and booleans and maybe So I think a lot of like these apps, like I'd be curious for you to like maybe like try one of those, like teaching kids to code and comparing it to what you see in this game.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying it. Kat, I think you'd like it too. Other folks should go pick it up and play it.
I think like because in my day job I do use a node editor to do some light logic.
Yes.
Where I'll say like, if this triggers a boolean, if the boolean if true is true, trigger this animation. If it flips to false, trigger this one. And
yes.
So
what's cool too is it's object oriented in a sense because you
like
can you can set up your entire system to do a planting and then save it as an object. And then if you want to clear it out, now I just want to harvest. So you clear it out and you load in the harvesting one. When you're done harvesting, you want to plant and water again, you clear that out and load in one. So you're creating object oriented programming at the same time.
In a video game, which is an object oriented program software in itself.
My brain is exploding. So try it out if you're somewhat keen on programming and want to learn more. But then also a really cute farming sim. All right, let's take a wee break before we get into Game On and News of the Week. All right, this is a video game podcast, so let's play a podcast game about video games. Catherine, I am your player today. Since you played for me last week, I played for you. So what are we playing?
We're playing Super Steam Reviews.
Yay!
And I'm going to go with the format that they did for R500, which was like, I have one game and each game has 3 reviews. So if you don't get it, I can read more.
Okay, cool.
So I have 2 games for you to guess. Mm-hmm. And the theme is recently released indie games.
Ooh, okay.
So our first one, I just saw the person's username. Oh my God. I took the screenshot. I didn't look at it.
Oh.
So this review comes from Gooner420.
Nice.
It's a good game, but it would be better if there was a strangle button that I can use on my friends when they eat all the food like a greedy piece of lard. Recommended.
Friends when they eat all the food. Friends eat all the food. Who are you inviting over? Why are you making food? What indie game came out recently that would have had
you play
food
with your
involved?
friends that you has a mechanic around food.
Yes. Indie game. Can I have another review, please?
Yes, this one is from Melody. Thank you for having a normal name there.
What, you didn't like Gooner 420?
Jesus Christ. Told my friends with panic in my voice that the lava is rising even though it wasn't. One friend panicked and died because of it. 10 out of 10 game. Recommended.
It's not Overcooked, is it?
No. It's a game that came out like very recently.
My God, it was lava? And it's Steam. Oh my God, I'm going to be terrible at this. I'm going to be really bad.
I think your TikTok FYP wasn't the same as mine for a while.
Maybe not, but that doesn't matter.
Because this game was all over my TikToks.
Really?
Just really, really funny clips.
Really? Right now, all my TikTok is freaking cat's eye and cleaning videos. I don't know. Give me another one. You got a third?
I got a last one from Sir Miley.
Okay.
Watch my friends fall to their death. Bing bong is essential to all trips. 10 out of 10 would fall to my death again. Recommended.
I have no clue. What's the game?
Peak.
Oh, I don't know anything about it.
Really? Okay.
Really?
So
okay, tell me about this game.
It is the new
P-E-A-K?
Peak. It is by Aggro Crab, that small studio.
Peak game.
And it is basically, it's a local co-op multiplayer up to like 3 friends or 4 friends.
Okay.
That has proximity voice chat.
Okay.
And you're basically, your plane crashes. And then to escape the island, you need to climb to the peak of the mountain. But then there's like, you have stamina. You need to eat. There's cannibalism. You can eat your friends. If you die, you become a ghost and you can haunt your friend that's still alive. If they find a shrine, they can bring you back to life.
The world looks so beautiful in Pixar, and then your characters are these like really whack humanoid looking multicolored, I guess, silhouettes of humans, but they're dorky AF looking.
Oh yeah. It is peak comedy, like pun intended. This is the thing that streamers right now are latched onto in terms of like that replace like Among Us games like that. It's so silly.
It looks like you play in first person, but you can see all your other characters in full, because there's one shot that I'm looking at on the Steam app, and like you're looking down at someone who's trying to like climb up a rope, but you see like your hands and your feet, and it looks kind of trippy.
Honestly, I hope they're working on a VR version. This would be great in VR.
Really?
Yeah.
This is all over your For You page?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saved a few good ones to repost on the Girls on Games
nice
TikTok account. I haven't gone to do it, but yeah. No, I was like, what the fuck is this game? And one of the first TikToks I saw was actually from the studio itself.
Mm-hmm.
The comm dev was reading the patch notes and presenting the patch notes, being in game. So their avatar was like talking and doing the proximity chat, so the it makes the animation go, and basically being in game, like being like, we added a biome, and that avatar standing like in the desert and be like, and there's a few surprises, and as they talk about the biome and what's in it, like the lava slowly rising under them.
Oh my
god! Like I saw the patch notes. There was like, good news, we added cannibalism to Peak, and I was about to scroll, and I was like, you did what? This game, peak comedy. Like this is like Mario Kart, but for climbers. I thought maybe you were like seeing as the memes as I was. I guess that's why you didn't get it. But
that's crazy though that you're getting served that and I'm not at all. Like, I hadn't even heard of it. That's crazy.
Saw it like a bit on Twitter, a bit on Blue Sky as well.
Yeah.
But it's the flavor of the month when it comes to like co-op game for streamers.
Cool.
And it is so funny.
Like Fall Guys and
exactly. But it's just like it's a small group.
Cool.
So it makes for great comedy.
Nice.
So I have a second game.
Sure.
Also have 3 reviews. Our first review comes from Coconut. This is pretty much Urinal Etiquette, the game. Except there's no urinal and it's much cuter. Recommended.
Urinal Etiquette, the game.
I learned there's an etiquette for urinals.
There is. There has to be.
Which urinal do you take if like one's already...
Is the seat take one? Is this game?
Yes.
What were the other 2 reviews?
So we have Big Daddy, who said, lots of stinky people in the game. I resonate with that heavily. 10 out of 10.
Nice.
And the last one is, I want to look at my phone in movie theater. I also want to sit near the center. Some of these shapes deserve to go in the square hole. Recommended.
That's good. That's good. Tell me that wasn't somebody wanting to look at their phone and put them in the movie theater in the middle in one of the scenarios.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, my God.
It's
a pet peeve.
Oh, yeah, or somebody's like, I talk during the movie and, and I want to be in the center. And I'm just like, great, now I have to like make this peripheral of silence around you for the people that want to be alone and quiet, but also not next to a kid. And then somebody shows up unshowered.
Oh, my God.
I love this game, by the way. If you didn't listen to last episode, I reviewed it. I love this game. It's amazing. But yeah, those were my. I kept it short since Joelle is
just the two of us. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Joelle's
great.
still in the midst of moving.
That's okay. All right, let's get into some news, and it kind of looks like follow-ups to stories that we've been covering already.
Yes, the tea is piping hot. Let's start with really quickly.
Yes,
the updates on the Subnautica 2 leaders that are suing Krafton.
Yes,
There was a legal response from Krafton. And I'm on the This Week in Video Games. They have 3 points in brief, and it's Krafton has issued an official legal response to the lawsuit filed against them by former leadership of Unknown Worlds. In it, they say the leaders are demanding a multi-million-dollar payday they haven't earned. The publisher cites several alleged details to show how disinterested the former leaders were in the development of Subnautica 2. And I'm like...
So they're saying they didn't earn it, not just because they didn't make it, but because they were in no place to be able to make it to the finish line to get that money.
Yeah.
So they say.
So they say. So the response, it was published in full by reporter Nicole Carpenter, writing for Aftermath.
Okay.
And it reiterates that publisher stands that former CEO Ted Gill, co-founder and game director Charlie Cleveland, and co-founder and technical director Max McGuire abandoned their duties during the development of Subnautica 2. It accuses them once more of pushing to release an underscope version of the title in order to meet revenue targets, in order to become eligible for the $250 million payout agreed upon during Krafton's acquisition of Unknown Worlds. The response reads, rather than investing the effort necessary to meet the earnout conditions they freely negotiated, they resorted to litigation to demand a multi-million-dollar payday they haven't earned. Worse, they now ask this court to reinstate them on an expedited basis to roles and positions they had abandoned years before they ever filed this action. Scathing.
That's salty.
Yeah. So, Krafton says they saw massive potential in both the studio and Subnautica and viewed the leaders as essential to Unknown World's success. Krafton provided the $250 million bonus as an opportunity to ensure their commitment to Subnautica 2's successes. And then Krafton adds, the plan quickly unraveled. Krafton said Cleveland and McGuire pocketed almost $200 million apiece from the sale and quickly lost interest in developing Subnautica 2, abandoning their roles to focus on passion projects and quit making games for Unknown Worlds entirely. CEO Ted Gill is also accused of being focused on leveraging his operational control to maximize the earnout payment rather than developing a successful game. They also say the members of the development team has expressed confusion about the absence of Cleveland and McGuire, and the project suffered several delays while the former leaders allegedly blame others and overhauled the team and continued to reduce the scope of the game. Krafton says its publishing teams provided extensive feedback to Unknown Worlds in early 2025 and flagged the risk of irreversible harm to the entire IP franchise, citing Kerbal Space Program 2 as a comparative study. Yeah, that was a fucking... the Kerbal Space Program 2 crashed and burned like a rocket you would build in Kerbal Space Program. Development lead on Subnautica 2 reportedly said the first 2 early access content releases for the game would have been only about 12% of our intended 1.0 scope.
Ooh.
And joked that at that rate we would be in development for 30 years.
Whoa!
Krafton believes that this realization spurred the former leaders to push for a premature early access launch, prioritizing their monetary interests over the interests of the studio and franchise, and claims repeated requests to ask the leaders to return to the projects were denied. Cleveland allegedly said companies are often limited by their founders and remarked that in order for Subnautica 2 to succeed, new talent had to get better over time. All of us knew I wasn't going to be running that team. I wanted to hire someone bigger and better than me for the sequel. That's a quote from Cleveland. Krafton says its decision to terminate the leaders was to protect their investment in the long-term reputation of Unknown Worlds and the Subnautica franchise and its future products. This is This is a great, like, I pretty much read the article there from This Week in Video Game written by Edmund Tran. We'll have a link for you to, like, read the words. And that article has a link to the Aftermath source. That is receipts.
I can't wait to see the Jason Schreier version of this, where it's all summed up together.
I think at this point somebody is working on that, but
They've got to be. But holy cow, to come out and say they only had prepped 12% of what they wanted for the early access, like, no wonder they pumped the brakes hard.
I mean, if it's true that, like, these guys, like, just pocketed, like, huge bonuses, became rich, and then started to feel started to feel like they could do whatever they want, or they didn't have the shackles of, you know, this game needs to be a success for me to, like, make money anymore. But that's not how it works for, like, the devs, just the regular people. And I can understand, like, as a publisher, when you see, like, your creative forces like that, like, petering out, and just kind of, like, feels like they're sabotaging the project. And to be honest, like, as somebody who's been in the industry for a while, and, you know, you read the stories, I've seen the stories. You have project, that's what happened, is that like creative direction kind of like turns around, spins around, and at one point, like, the person holding the purse strings is like, shit, or get off the pot, because I'm not giving you more money. Because, like, it can spin out, and kind of like, if you don't have, sometimes you just need that pressure to be like, there's a gate coming. You know, if we want to keep this project going and maybe not be out of a job, maybe we should make a decision. But you get these egos that, like, kind of like run amok. And unfortunately, the indie space is not immune to that. So if a lot of this is true, this is really damning. Really damning. And it just shows us that basically Subnautica 2 was caught in some kind of dev hell that we didn't see or hear about. And
early access is not a save all, right?
No.
Like, it can still make or break your game. There are games, like you said, like Kerbal Space Program, Inzoi, ones that have gone out where people are like, should that even have gone out in the form that it was? Or it goes out and they keep upgrading it, but then it's like always in dev hell, right? It never actually releases. And, like, I'm sure there's tons of games like that. Now, yes, many games come out in early access, and it does take them a really long time to get the actual game out. The whole point of that is for them to have people and feedback and people to try and break things and whatever else, and just see how their gameplay loop works and all that kind of stuff. Like, you know, Coral Island was out in early access for the longest time. Pal World, even
Baldur's Gate 3.
Tons of games do that. It is still a risk, because if you just because you put it out in early access doesn't mean you have a hook. And if you put something out and has no hook, and people are like, meh, that first impression is the only first impression you're gonna get. So you at least want to go out with something good. If not, you've burnt all your momentum. It's going to be even harder to, like, try and mend bridges. So I totally understand why they want to hold it back. And if these guys essentially just pissed off and did whatever else but what they should have been working on, then they didn't deserve the $250 million that they'd get by reaching it. It just sucks for everybody else who was probably toiling trying to get it done, because they knew there was carrot being dangled in front of them.
Yeah, and probably, like, there's nothing worse, like, for burnout when you're chasing a moving goalpost. And that's, like, the biggest source of burnout in the video game industry on projects. So
this story, though, has been so back and forth and forth. It's kind of wild, because, like, when it came out, everybody was so on the side of the three founders. And now it's, like, flipping back the other way when you start hearing the things about the fact that they made about $2 million a piece from the sale originally, and now they're looking for more money. Nothing wrong with working towards more money, but you know, give and take. I'm sure there was shit on both sides, and now it's just like a can of worms have opened up. And
Yeah.
I really like Subnautica. I can't wait for the second one. Why does it have? This is why we can't have nice things.
You give money to video game developers that have like inflated egos, and then your favorite games go to shit. Is basically it.
Man, sad. What's the next story, Kat? And this will be the last story for the week.
Yeah, this is basically a continuation on that theme. You remember the story about Disco Elysium and all the saga that happened at the Studio Zaum?
And that big YouTube video that people make games made?
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
2 years later, they made a second one.
Like a second game or a follow-up video to the story. A
follow-up video of the story, because after this whole saga of what happens to Zaum, they pushed out the founders. One of the, like venture capital seemed to be committing fraud. So the lawsuit is still ongoing.
Yes.
And it's for the guy who basically wrote the story for Disco Elysium, one of the founding writers and members. This lawsuit is so he can have access to the financial records of the sale in the studio, so he can prove that this whole story about this one guy stealing the company and the IP is true. So he's basically in court in Lithuania. He's
in court to get the receipts to prove the initial story. Whoa. Because
the bald guy was like, his stand is he knew, and then the other guy's like, I didn't know. So that's why they're like in court.
Okay.
And in between that, like people got pushed out of the studio, people left, people got laid off, projects got canceled. So People Make Game went back to Eastern Europe to follow the story. It's a 2-hour video. I'm just saying the video exists because I have not finished watching it. I have maybe 30 minutes watched. As much, like pretty much. But it's like, there was Disco Elysium 2 that was like in development. And then it seems like this video is going to tell the story of it. So right now, like the first 20 minutes of the new People Make Game video is the host making a mea culpa and a bit of a recap of the previous video.
Yeah.
Because he answers the criticism about the video. He didn't get anything factually wrong in the sense that people said what they said at the camera.
Yeah.
But he basically, the big points he says is like, the way we structured the video is we met the guy that basically allegedly stole the company.
Yeah.
Then we talked to game devs and they tell how the original writer is toxic. And then we jump to the original writer who got accused of being a toxic leader, basically saying, I had no idea what the content of the sale was, and I'm trying to get access to the financial records because I'm locked out. And basically his biggest point was like, these two things are connected, but you have 30 minutes of them shitting on one of the two guys. And it made it look like out of these two people, one was more guilty than the other.
Okay. But we still don't know who's more guilty because they can't prove anything yet.
And the
he
court,
needs the paperwork and the receipts and courts and whatnot.
Exactly. And the court case is still ongoing at the time of me recording this video being out. So essentially I'm saying, hey, if you were as invested in me into this whole saga, there's a second video, follow-ups about what happened post these leaders leaving in the past 2 years, what happened with Disco Elysium 2, and why Zaum suddenly lay off 24 people. Why are people that used to work there are now making other studios and spin-off. And, one of the game devs, I'm sorry, I forgot their names, but like I said, I haven't watched the entire thing. I just kind of glanced at it. But, a former Zaum writer kind of bounced around from Zaum to like some of these other smaller studios, and has just spilling the tea on all of these motherfuckers. And I am looking forward to watching this while I catch airplanes.
Yeah, I'm curious to watch it too. Really interesting to see them come back and like answer some of the things. Because here's the other thing too, is like, I'm sure they went through multiple iterations of edits and whatever, and you learn more afterwards, and also hindsight is 2020, and they
Mhm.
learned a lot through the process and creating it. But like, we would have probably known anything about this if it wasn't for that video to start with, kind of
Exactly.
storytelling what's going on for a game that like was really popular when it hit.
Yeah, exactly. And you had like the original founders that had published their manifesto and things like that. There were bits of it like over the net and Reddit posts, and then he said, she said, hearsay, or like people, X game devs maybe tweeting and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
People Make Games kind of like went to it and they gathered, and they were the source of like, okay, we put everything together and we made this video. If not, you were kind of like reading something off IGN, something off Polygon, something off this guy's website, something off Reddit. And People Make Game, to their credit, because I don't want to discredit like other sources with like IGN and Polygon, they were kind of like reading on social media and reporting on it. People Make Games went to Estonia and Lithuania and these countries and talked to these people.
Yeah.
I said maybe the court was in Lithuania. It might be in Estonia. I forget.
Okay.
One of these countries.
Yeah. That's the thing about this story is it takes place over multiple locations too, and the laws and business rules in different places. It's exactly kind of what I'm hoping someone's going to, like Jason Schreier does for the stuff the different video game stories that he's covered in the 3 books he's released. I think it's 3. Blood, Sweat, Pixels. There
was one specifically,
and then the Blizzard one.
Yeah, specifically.
Yeah, I don't know if he's done more, but obviously he writes for Bloomberg. But I'm hoping they do something similar for the Subnautica story, because the truth is somewhere in the middle of all of this. Even when you're reporting, it's hard not to show the biases. They're not supposed to, but just like I said with Subnautica, the flip back and forth based on the perspective that the story's being written in. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, because the Subnautica story feels like buy studio, get easy win, give money to creators to have easy win. Oh no. Creators got too much money and now they don't want to work. They don't want to work on work. They want to work on personal projects and and then it's just like, oh no, who would have thought that throwing a lot of money, who would have thought that throwing money is not always the answer to everything?
Yeah. But I mean, like, if you want to earn the money, put in the work, right? It sounds like the work got hard and they got out, or at least decided to deflect. And and then this whole Zom story is like, again, like steal idea of great IP of greatest video games. Oh, what do you mean I can't make game without people that know how to make game good? Yeah.
And it's just like, oh God. It's just like, he made good game, but also he yell at people.
That's also not good. Yeah. So Wild that they actually wanted to come back and invest in it again, right? Like,
yeah, I love People Make Games for that. Like, they do like really good deep dive content.
Yeah.
And even though it seemed like the previous one he took a side because of like how the video was structured, he came back to say like the point was never to take a side.
Yeah.
The point was to point a camera at these people and they tell their stories.
Is it definitive? Is it definitive that he took a side, or is it that we all just interpreted that that's where he was going?
It was an interpretation.
Yeah. Okay.
Because of that large gap in the middle where it was like, I'm accusing, like, I'm telling, like, I'm the guy being accused of stealing the company. I'm telling you this guy was in on it. And then we have 30 minutes of old game devs being like, this guy was hard to work with. And then we talk to this guy.
Yeah.
And this guy finally says, no, I was not in on it on the transaction.
Yeah.
So then we came in with a bias.
Yeah. Okay.
Because of how the old video was edited.
Right.
And that he opened the video saying that was a mistake on our part.
Okay.
The way we structured it. It would have been better if we would kind of like went back and forth. We wanted to avoid that. We wanted every like piece to stand alone. Then we realized people couldn't make the connection. Because we fed you 30 minutes of toxic workplace culture.
Wild.
Before the guy finally says what that other guy says is a lie.
Yeah.
But he says that after 30 minutes.
You could have taken out the toxic workplace culture altogether.
Not necessarily. Or it would have been better like elsewhere in the video.
Yeah. Or after that point. Or after,
because the point is not just like some guy came in like a Scooby-Doo villain to steal the studio where everything was like sunshine and roses.
Yeah. It was
like,
already in
like
shit.
Most of these like indie studios, there's a lot of like underlying workplace issue when they start to grow, because you basically you make these games, you crunch and you go with a lot of passion, but you can't go like that like 24 like every project cannot be this like taxing. But also like once you start to like invest and build a company, then it becomes a corporate setting and you have to run it like a corporation. It comes with a different kind of culture, and that bootstrap mentalities of like, we can work all night, it's fine, it's going to be the greatest like piece of art ever. Then it becomes like between art and business.
Yeah.
And you can't ask people that signed up for a 9 to 5 to work overnight because you're like this passionate author that went and made this game. It's always like this transition is really, really, really hard for a lot of studios and for a lot of creators and for a lot of people. Because you're like, oh, I could make more money. But that means you're changing how you make your games.
Mm-hmm.
And it can become beholden to like, not just like, I don't want to say shareholders, but like, you know, like the people you hired as well. They look to you for leadership, but also like safety and structure and financial security. And that's not for everybody. And I think like that part was important, but it's just like the way he made it, like the cream and his, you know, accusatory Oreo, we lost the plot basically. And I agreed. Like once he and he exploded himself. Like, you know, he fast forwarded the video with a timer saying how long it takes before the 2 points connect. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's why I came out of this video thinking this man was a complete asshole.
But here's the other thing too. It also really makes people realize the power of editing.
Exactly. The power of editing, of curating, of cherry picking, you know? And even in this case, like they didn't do it on purpose, but you know, it is what it is.
Oh, I mean, it's essentially all reality TV is, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it comes, that's when you kind of realize, oh, wow, like that was not what I wanted to do, but that's basically what people understood from this because I made this crucial editing mistake of not ordering shit in the proper order or not, you know, there's clearly a thread that was cut.
And it's funny because we were talking about early access and how like, you know, not all early access means good game, but like having people review it and someone being able to be like, do you realize that because you did it this way?
Yeah.
You set that up, right? Like you're almost playing devil's advocate to him, right? In the editing. And often that's why you have, I mean, Jesus, when I wrote my thesis, I had like 3 different people who were part of it, right? To review, make sure you were on the right track. Yeah, craziness. I can't wait to watch it, Kat.
Yeah, I'm gonna, you know, we record on Monday night and like, then I start my 3 days of going to the office. I often watch YouTube videos while I have breakfast and put on my makeup. It's going to be three mornings of this piping hot tea coming from Zaum and people that work on Disco Elysium, like more of the updates on this. Yeah. And it's cool. Great because it's about people that I don't know about. And that's always the best part about drama like this. Yeah. It's about real people. I get it. It's
about real people, and also too about a business that hopefully we can all learn something from their mistakes in the process.
A lot of mistakes like this are often made in the video game industry, and I'm like, we're starting to be much more of a mature industry. Like shit like this should not be happening as often as is. Like we should be on smooth sailing for business, but it's not everybody's on the same business acumen as others. So like it's gonna happen, and that's part of it. Anything where business and art meet in the middle, there's tension because it's not a natural fit. It is a square peg at a round hole. It is sitting a stinky shape next to a shape that doesn't want to smell big smells.
Truth. Real talk. And with that is the conclusion to this week's episode of the Girls on Games podcast. As always, check out the show notes on girlsongames.ca for links to all the stories and YouTube videos mentioned in this episode. Thank you, Catherine, for always pulling that together for us. As always, we encourage you to leave a review and rate this podcast if you are listening to it on a podcast platform that allows such actions. Why? It helps with discovery, pushes us up in the rankings, and any comments help us build our show. We read them all. Thank you, Catherine, for joining me this week to chat video games. Where can people find you on social media?
I am CSDESBINS on Blue Sky and Instagram, or mostly where the social media I'm still pretty much active on. But I'm always in the Girls on Games Discord if you want to come and chat about airplanes.
What airplanes did you catch today? And I'm Leah Jew on most social media platforms, but of course you want to know everything there's to know about Girls on Games. You can track us down at The Girls on Games on X and Facebook. Just Girls on Games on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and TikTok. Discord.me/Girls on Games to continue this conversation and more. But of course, if you ever need to know anything at all, you can track it down at our home base. That is our website, girlsongames.ca. Thank you, Kat. It's been another lovely week in video games, and I'm off to play more Ritual of Raven. Curious to see what's going to be next on my list. I'm traveling soon, so if anybody's got any ideas on some good games to play on a Switch 2 on the road that you know what I like to play, the type of games I like, give me a holler on social or Discord.
Don't forget to open SkyCards when you're in those airports to get more
you
airplanes.
know. I'm going to have to rack up the coins because, I've got to go from here to Vancouver to Kelowna to Vancouver to here. So that's some pretty good spots.
Yeah. Just catch them. You'll get the coins.
Gotta catch them all. Airplanes. All right, that's it. We're done. Bye.
Bye.